So Stephen Colbert's at it again. So the Department of Energy, that apparently runs biolabs, they came out and said that it looks like like as everyone knows, that looks like that coronavirus, the COVID, was created in the Wuhan lab. Stephen Colbert does not like this because this goes.
No, he didn't do the thing of like, oh, that's weird, Department of Energy, because that's what we said. We're like,
oh, he does. Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you see it?
I've seen him say this. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's another surprising development this weekend. The Department of Energy released a new report saying a lab leak is the most likely origin of the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, there it is. Chinese wet markets, you're off the hook. Let's order a round of pangolin poppers for the table. I love a nice plate of wet apps. Now, if you're can we get some civet fingers, please? Now, if like me, you're wondering why the Department of Energy is the one making this judgment, it's because that agency oversees a network of U.S. national laboratories, some of which conduct advanced biological research. No. Bad energy department. No biolabs until you finish building your electric car charging stations. Stay in your lane. You don't see the Census Bureau building nukes. But whatever. Who am I to say? They're the energy department. I'm sure they're smart. They wouldn't release these findings unless they were absolutely confident. What's that? They made their judgment with low confidence. Yeah. You could tell by the way they delivered the news. Maybe it was a lab leak. That's stupid. Forget I said anything. Now, it turns out, no matter what the energy department says, not everyone in the government agrees. You see, while the Department of Energy suspects it was a lab leak, 4 other agencies, along with a national intelligence panel, still judge that the pandemic was likely the result of a natural transmission, and the CIA remains undecided. In fact, the CIA issued the following statement. Which virus? No, that one wasn't us. Huh?
So I don't get how he does this. I don't get how he gets to make the joke and then debunk the joke or contradict the joke. Like he's saying the CIA did it. That's that joke.
Yeah, I only saw a clip where he was saying stay in your lane, so I didn't even know that he said the biolab part.
Yeah, so he said that.
So that's like shocking to me because I had only seen that and I was like, oh, he just doesn't know anything. But he does know.
He does know, and he doesn't want to know from them.
Well, I guess because, the Jon Stewart thing has got to be in his head.
Oh, it's in his head because he saw what happened until Jon Stewart went on his show and made all those jokes about how the Wuhan virus started at the Wuhan coronavirus lab. And so then Jon Stewart almost got canceled over that. And so now that's in his head. So he's afraid to embrace that.
Well, it's like, why would they say it?
Why would they even say it? It's like,
I mean, they did say it like that. And how he said, but it sounds like the sheepish way you'd say it when you've known it was true the whole time and we're lying. It
came from the lab. I have low confidence. It's not a big deal. Here we go.
That wasn't there. There was also no theory put forth by, quote, another agency that officials wouldn't name. Wait a second. There's a United States intelligence agency so secret they can't even say its name? Is it Rumpelstiltskin? Is it Fight Voldemort? Anyway, we'll have more on this story as soon as anyone has anything they can prove. Speaking of deadly.
By the way, I love how not racist he is talking about eating wet pangolin fingers. I mean, the non-racist option. Let's not forget.
Yeah, so
Jon Stewart was called a racist.
That's right. Jon Stewart was called a racist when he said
bat wings, Jimmy.
So Fauci and Collins. So how does Stephen Colbert not know this? I know this. How does he not know this? That they always knew it came from there because the first 2 top virologists who reported to Fauci told them that. And then, well, watch what happened. Watch what happens.
2 leading virologists, maybe the 2 top virologists in the United States, Dr. Michael Farzan from Scripps and Dr. Robert Gary from Tulane told Dr. Fauci on his emergency call in January of 2020 when he was scrambling soon after learning that the NIH was funding the lab, they both said that it was likely from the lab. Both scientists changed their tunes days later in the media, and then both scientists received $9 million subsequent in funding from the NIH. It's a no-brainer that it came from the lab. I mean, at this point, it's impossible to acquire any more information, and if you did, it would only be affirmative.
So we know, he knows that. Everybody in Congress should know that. I knew that. How does Stephen Colbert and his writing staff not know that?
Well, he better not know that.
Yeah, right? Because he better not know that, because he'll be out of the cult. If he said this, he would be out of the cult. Hey, Fauci's a big liar.
Hey, you want to dance around with Chuck Schumer in the street?
That's right.
He's in the greatest, the juiciest plum of showbiz of getting to dance around.
How is it that Stephen Colbert doesn't know that? And why isn't he doing a joke about what a liar Fauci was? And how this whole thing's been a lie? About how they've been lying about everything at every turn. They lied about masks. They lied about herd immunity, natural immunity, transmission, contraction. They lied about where the virus came from. They lied about funding the virus. Fauci lied to Congress about funding the research that led to the virus. And then those two, and how does, that somebody asked me, somebody who's a COVIDian, we call them a COVIDian, people who just believe everything that the government says about COVID uncritically. They would say to me, well, how did they get every doctor in the whole country to go, well, do you see how this goes? Do you see that Dr. Fauci controls the funding? These two guys said something. Fauci wants them to say the opposite. He then gives them $9 million.
Or you think money corrupts?
They get $9 million in funding.
But why would they do that? You saw how they handled that Ohio situation? You think, you see a pattern maybe?
And so who's that guy who just told us all this? Marty McCurry, MD, MPH. He's from Johns Hopkins.
No,
he's probably crazy. Probably crazy. He's from Johns Hopkins. The conspiracy theories about the origins of the coronavirus, debunked. That's from Vox. Yeah. These are the people who want to censor people like me because I spread misinformation, but of course they're the biggest misinformers there is.
They're the people who Stephen Colbert hears about his news from someone who bothered to read Vox. That's part of the way. Here's
Canadians also. No, the new coronavirus wasn't created in a lab. Scientists say this is all garbage. Forbes, the Wuhan lag leap hypothesis is a conspiracy theory. So they're just going to keep using that word forever, even though it's been totally trashed, the word conspiracy?
I don't understand. Is it, okay, you could say something's a conspiracy theory that doesn't really relate to whether it's true or not.
Yes,
it's
there's lots of conspiracies.
Yes. Remember you thought Trump had a conspiracy with Russia?
Yeah. But they said, that's why they said collusion.
Okay, it's a collusion theory. If
it's a collusion. They didn't want to call it a conspiracy theory.
Hey, that's a collusion theory.
Yep. There's more. Trump's favorite COVID origin theory of Wuhan lab leak just got crushed by new research. Oh. That's from Fortune. Vice, Trump's Wuhan lab coronavirus conspiracy theory is bogus, according to everyone.
Trump's favorite COVID. Do they think that after Trump left office, they just disposed of whatever vaccine they're working on and started a new? Is that the idea?
There's no evidence that the 2019 coronavirus originated in a Chinese government lab. That's from Full Fact. It's from Full Fact. Glenn Greenwald says a huge number of NBC and CNN employees repeatedly said the lab leak theory was debunked. That was a total lie. It was never debunked. That lie was concocted by Fauci and Peter Daszak, who had major undisclosed personal conflicts in protecting the Wuhan lab. U.S. corporate media spent 18 months insisting COVID's zoonotic origins had been proven and the lab leak theory had been debunked, to the point it was banned online. Turns out some of the USG's top science teams concluded the lab leak is not just viable, but most likely. Watching media corporations and their liberal allies grapple with the Wall Street Journal's revelation is fascinating. They have no way out. Fauci told them COVID's zoonotic origin was proven and the lab leak theory debunked. They all repeated this for 18 months, and now, no, it was untrue.
You know, Stephen Colbert, if you think it's wacky that they have the biolabs under them, the energy department, doesn't that give you a clue that maybe everything's cocked up and you can't trust a single thing?
You would think.
That has to give you a little pause, right?
No, it doesn't to him. He just shut up. That's a theory that's not allowed in our cult yet fully, even though...
Tell me when you can prove it.
Yeah.
I guess he has to wait. Was he get a call from The View that he can believe what he wants?
Yeah, he doesn't have to wait to trash that theory and call anybody who says it alt-right, but he has to wait for evidence to say it's real. But he doesn't have to wait for evidence to say it's unreal.
Hey, well, what evidence is it that cracker turns into the body of Christ? Am I right?
Transubstantiation.
What do you mean there's no transubstantiation? What?
You're telling me? That's what Catholics literally believe, that piece of wafer bread becomes the body and blood of Jesus Christ, that it's not symbolic. That's what transubstantiation is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put a camera down your throat and see.
Let's see. Let's do DNA on that cracker. If you want to see my stand-up special, become a member at jimmydore.com. It's only $10, and come see our live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Milwaukee, St. Paul, Honolulu, Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, and more.